Hey friends, and welcome back. It is your creative weird makeup artist buddy Kat to bring you another video. Today we're going to do a chit chat, get ready with me, talking about scary, spooky, ghost, haunted, creepy stories while doing our makeup today. If you have not subscribed yet, we do videos every Monday and Friday, not only beauty makeups, but body paintings, effects videos, telling creepy tales, doing makeup tutorials, so you can definitely stick around and subscribe for some more. We also have an Amazon wish list if you want to browse that on anything that is for my makeup kit and to support this channel. And we have a P.O. box where you can write to me. I'll put the address here as well. So you can definitely check those out. Now let's get on with the video. I'm going to be retrying the Photofocus foundation from Wet n Wild. I forgot to get dewy. But this was from Diana, who I talked about in my recent video, and we're going to try this weird, I call it the UFO sponge. It's by Real Techniques, and it's like this pouncy sponge. It would be really good for like Korean BB creams because I have sponges like this for that. But it's made for like compact powders to like touch up, so we'll try that. I forgot that this foundation smells like paint, but it works so well. But let's get into the spooky stories. This one's called It Wasn't a Little Girl. This person was camping with her husband and their family in a small remote lake in New Mexico. In their group alone, there was 10 people, and in the group that was camping next to them, there was 6. It was nighttime, and both like camp groups of people were doing the typical thing, making s'mores, having some drinks, telling some spooky stories. I'm sure there might have been a campfire, when all of a sudden they heard what sounded like a little girl yelling out for help. Terrified already, right? Neither of these two groups of people had children, so this really scared them, and both groups of people decided to search for whatever little girl that they heard was calling out for help. Behind their campsites, there was an open field, and when they looked in this field, there was a tall, pure white figure, about 6 feet tall and skinny. It was about 100 feet away from them, and this was the figure that was making noises. Whatever it was, as they got closer to investigate this figure, the figure started backing away into whatever forest was of trees was behind it and completely disappeared into the trees. My boyfriend was not lying when he said there was a huge pimple on my neck today. But after this incident happened, as they were trying to fall asleep, all they could hear was a little girl calling out for help. And this was as they were falling asleep, and that's the end of the story. How have they not figured out what this was? I'm terrified. This next story is called The Walking Dead. Oh my gosh, I hope it's as good as the show. This person says that they're a psychiatric nurse, and early on in their career, they worked at a residential mental facility, and one of their patients was an elective mute, meaning there wasn't any medical reason why this was happening, but they electively are choosing not to speak, make any type of noise whatsoever. This patient was 7 feet tall, and earlier on in their life, they were speaking. I'm using Vrea Cosmetics, by the way, this concealer I'm addicted to. This patient was raised in the Deep South. He had been in the military at 19, and one day he had actually vanished. He had been declared AWOL. I'll put the meaning of that here. And eventually he was declared missing and dead. 10 years later, the 7-foot-tall man walked into a VA hospital in the Midwest and said, "My name is Marion Decree, and I have been dead for 10 years. Which, oddly enough, he gave a fake name that wasn't even his real name. This is very weird, by the way. I don't know what I feel about it. I just wanted to try it. See, hear how hard it is? It's like abusing my chin. And those were the very last words he had spoken because, again, elective mute. He was covered in dust, and he was actually wearing the same exact outfit, clothing he had been wearing the night he had reported that he vanished. Crazy, right? I don't know what it is about nose contouring. It's my least favorite, forever and always. His social security had not been used, and his identification wasn't even on him at the time. although they had identified him by his fingerprints. They notified his family members, but his family members, I think, were just in shock. They said that they had already grieved the loss of their son, and that they claimed that the man who they found, or who came to the VA hospital, could not be their son. It's been 10 years, you know? His family actually demanded to not be contacted about this matter again. What? I would have seen my family member in person if there was even any slight hint or claim that they were not missing anymore after 10 years. But that could just be me, you know? I also listen to way too many missing cases, horror, crime story podcasts and TV shows. I'm gonna be using this High Tide palette by Colourpop that I've never touched in my life, and it looks so pretty and I can't wait to use it. I'm just using my P. Louise concealer for a base because I want very graphic ghosts I want to do, like spooky ghosts in blue. So Marion, this guy, was just walking around acting like he was mumbling to himself. But again, no words were coming out of his mouth. He was just like moving his mouth, like he was mumbling, but nothing was coming out. It was just creepy, right? He had this weird habit where he would slam his neck back and act like he was laughing wholeheartedly, but no sound would come out. Creepy. And when you were talking to him and this nurse was talking to him, he acted like he could hear you, but he would just slam his head back, almost with that laughter type phase. It was almost as if he was mimicking you, but at the same time, sometimes it seems like he's listening. Various medications were tried, but nothing was like positive or negatively affect like anything with this case. Occupational therapy did nothing for him because unless you told him to stay put, he would just grin at you and pace. The last day that she worked there, she saw Marion in the parking lot pacing and throwing his head back like he was laughing again, and she wonders or does not know what if he's speaking to some sort of superstitial, like supernatural ghosts. To this day, they don't know what it is. She doesn't know. This next story is called The Unrest Stop. I'm using Flexitarian, of course, as my highlight as always. And it's not a cat sketch video unless you have a gigantic, exquisite, very much out there upper lip highlight that looks like you've been sweating. So this girl has been driving cross country with her mother and sister when she was 16 and her other sister with them was 20. I think I need orange glitter here. Yes. Where the highlight would be. Yeah, that's what we needed. I'm gonna be dipping into these aqua liners, these cake liners from Dollar Lash Club in the color Ice for some ghosts. But while these women were on their cross-country trip, it was late at night at this point, but they had been well rested at this point, right? They were driving along the interstate and needed to go to the bathroom, have a gas break. They needed gas. So they stopped at the only rest stop within the next 200 miles. It's so hard to talk while concentrating on this eye makeup. So at this gas station, there was a van full of teenagers in front of them, and next to them there was a dark gray car in the pump that was more in front of them, and it had like this random man standing by this dark gray car, right? Red flag. When they got there, they said everything felt wrong. Something felt off. Gut feelings, you know? So the mom and her sister went inside and she was left alone in the car. No ma'am. And on top of it, the teenagers, they were freaked out about something and left her in a hurry because the pump wouldn't work for some reason. In the car in front of them, there wasn't actually one guy with that gray car, there was two, and they hadn't been talking, but they were just standing there forever, it seemed like. Just staring at each other, not talking, standing there. They weren't on their phones, just stiff as a rock, not moving. And once her sister and her mom were done doing their business, getting gas inside the gas station, they ran straight for the car, terrified looking, very fast, closed the door behind them, and as they got in the car, they all looked at these two men in front of them, and the two men slowly turned their heads towards them. Do not pivot their bodies, but just their heads move to stare at them. And they kid you not, the eyes were pitch black. There was no white in them, just the eyes were totally pitch black. Not reflecting light, a deep dark void. And all the three girls, women, said that they said to each other they see the same thing. They're not all three seeing things. And so they decided to speed out of there, of course, as quickly as possible to the next city. And when they stopped in the next city, the crazy part is they could not find on the map where that gas station was. Like, it's almost as if it didn't exist. I feel like I'm in an episode of like Goosebumps reading this story. And they knew exactly where to look on Google Maps. They even looked on paper maps of where this interstate would be and where that gas station on the interstate would be, and they could not find it. I'm getting this gel liner that came with the High Tide eyeshadow palette. I'm putting it here. And what's crazy is they even asked locals about that road and the gas station. They all looked at them confused, not understanding what they're talking about. What's even crazier about this story is they actually went back on that spot on the interstate where the rest stop would be since this incident, and they still drove everywhere and couldn't find the rest stop. These are the lashes by Dollar Lash Club in the style Sydney. They're so pretty. Alright, I'm gonna put on some lips and I'll be back. Alright, we have our lips and that is our finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed these spooky tales. Leave a comment down below if you want to hear more. I have so much fun doing this. Absolutely love the orange and the blue, the sparkle and the ghosts. And I hope you guys do too. These ghosts were not easy, but I love a challenge. You can subscribe for more videos every Monday and Friday. And also check out my Amazon wish list, and you can write me at my P.O. box. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!